Dolores Wagner, and I was born in Johnstown, Pennsylvania in 1939. I met my husband. He was from Johnstown, Pennsylvania too, and we got married in 1958. And I knew him from school because he went to the schools back in Johnstown, but I really got to know him when his older sister married my uncle, and I got to know him a lot better. Well, I fell in love with him, really. As a young person, I knew that I loved him. But I saw good traits in him. I saw helpfulness, unselfishness, caring. And I knew that he would be someone that would take care of me and always be there. And I just fell in love with him and loved him since I was 16. And I'm 76 now, and I still love him the same. We had 2 children. We had John, our firstborn son, and then 6 years later, we had David, our second-born son. We never had a dog because we were military. We traveled all the time, and just wasn't feasible to be putting a dog in the car going everywhere, so we didn't have a dog back in those days. The first word I want to describe myself is as a Christian, because I want to be known as believing in Jesus. The second word would be truthful, and the third word would be caring. My favorite Bible verse, I have many, but I like John 3:16. It says, "For God so loved the world that God, gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever will believe in him will not perish, but have everlasting life." And that really means whosoever will believe in him and come to him, for all of us. Let the Lord Jesus guide you and instruct you, and be obedient to your parents. First of all, I would give money to the Lord's work, and I would want to give more time to the Lord's work too. And second, I would want to bless my family here, financially, my family in Pennsylvania, everywhere my family touches, to help, and to help even people that are needy. Well, I think the craziest thing I've ever done, I've done a lot of them, but this one comes to my mind. I wanted to not go to school one day. I wanted to skip school. So I talked my younger sister. She was a sophomore, I believe, and I was a senior. And I wanted to skip school with her, so we wanted to go to my cousin's house. But the school would always call and check, if you're sick or why weren't you there. So I got a steak knife out of my mom's steak knife drawer, and I came out and I cut the telephone wire outside so the school couldn't call. And my sister and I did go to my cousin's and spent the whole day. But my dad, who was a wise man, he knew that wire was cut, and he told my mom, he said it was cut deliberately. So when my sister and I got home, we did not get away with playing hooky. It was when John F. Kennedy was assassinated, because he was a good president. We really loved him. You even got to know his family over the years. And when that assassination took place, it was as if it was a family member, because it touched me emotionally. The first thing I would say is that I wanted to share Jesus with them. If they learn nothing else from me as a grandma, I want them to pass on what they learned about the Lord. And the other thing I want to say is that each grandchild, with their own special personality, their own little ways, and I wanted to interact with them in a way that would be a blessing to their life, and what they learned from me, they would be able to pass on. Well, my Italian grandfather, owned a farm, and he had a pig pen. And one day we were at the farm, and I put my hand through the pig pen, and the pig snapped at me. And I started to cry. And my younger sister, Alberta, she got a big stick, and she went in that pig pen, and she was going to chase that pig because he bit me. First of all, I want to be remembered as a Christian that loved Jesus. I want them to know that. I want them to remember that I loved them, that I was always there for them, and they knew that I was there for them, and that they could come to me for anything. And I also want them to know that I just wanted to be a blessing in their life, and all that they learned from me, I want them to pass on.